Hi, welcome to Life Behind the Bar. This is your host Nico. In today's episode, we'll be joined Nicole Constanzo. She bartends out of Cocoa Beach, but she's originally from South Florida. Her story is amazing, just like her personality. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And please, rate our show on Spotify and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Enjoy. Playing like this old, this like
I know,
jams that
like perfect music for
I know
for this episode.
So, hi there.
Hi,
Welcome to the Life Behind the Bar.
I love it. I'm honored.
Can you remind our listeners what your name is?
My name is Nicole.
Right on. It's like Nicole and Nico.
Nico and Nicole, let's go.
Crazy. So, welcome to the Life Behind the Bar. I'm so happy that you came in and joined me today to this thing. You seem really excited about it. I was kind of like, yeah.
I'm like honored. Honestly, I think this is what Brevard needs. We need exposure to the bar life. Not only that, I feel like we're so explosive in this industry, in this area. It's been like silent for so long. And since I moved here, it's just like flourishing into this flower. And I'm like so excited to be a part of it and kind of expose like who I am and what I'm about. And yeah. I'm so nervous because I don't like talking about myself at all. But hey, I'm like, listen, this is an honor. I'm doing it for Nico.
That's awesome. I appreciate it very much. And like, I understand that like they'd be nervous because like I'm the same thing. Like I've done enough interviews at this point where I should be like a little bit more relaxed, and it kind of like helps. But I'm still like every time I'm like I get like a little bit like
reinforcements over here.
Oh yeah,
thank you.
But every time I get like like all right, let's do this. It's not going to be that big. Like, it's not going to be bad. It's like, I got to do it. Like,
and I love your passion because that means that you take every interview into consideration. Like, if you're nervous, that's a good thing. That means you have passion into every person that you're interviewing. And that's amazing.
I want to be able to tell everybody's stories. And to me, like, each individual story is actually something important. Like, everybody's story deserves a lot of respect and deserves a lot of attention. Deserves a lot of, like, at the very least, like, passion. It's just because we owe it to ourselves to actually make people understand that first there's a stigma that like, oh, you're just a bartender. Like, no, we're not just a bartender. We're somebody that chose this line of work because we are good at it or because we enjoy it, but we also have lives, we have stories. And there's so much diversity in this industry that, like, to me, it would be a waste not to tell the stories. Like, I've worked in this industry for so many years and I've run into so many people from all walks of life that it was like, we're just not a bartender. We are a whole conglomeration of like individuals, misfits, and like people that like just didn't either fit in a certain like pattern, or we just enjoy different things, or we like talking to people, or we're actually shy. And outside of our bar, or like outside of our bubble, we're like super shy. We don't talk to everybody. But when we're behind the bar, we just feel like empowered, where we can actually talk and be outgoing. And I feel like it will be awesome because a lot of people, again, they don't consider us to have a career. They consider bartending in the service industry as not a career or not a job. And I think we need to, it's up to us to change that perspective on people and to show them that, yes, this is a career. And for whoever that wants to like maybe join it, it's a great, and then there's struggles and difficulties and things and challenges, but nothing that is not to be overcome,
Definitely.
So, Nicole, we met at the Brevardtender party, right? I have seen you before, like, because, being in this area, it's a small area. So
everyone knows that.
Everybody knows it.
But it's a small town, just so y'all know. Not used to small town. And I just realized real quick how small it is. And everyone knows God. Everybody, real quick.
Everybody knows, everybody, especially like beachside. So where do you bartend right now?
So I'm currently at Area 142.
Area 142.
And they're my family. Honestly, I love them. They've embraced me with open arms. This town actually has embraced me with open arms. I also work for Duderman Productions. Okay. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
Yes.
But they do, all the local concerts. Yes. And I have to give a shout out to Jeff Jones. He's the one that got me on the map. He saw me perform like one time behind the bar and he's like, I need you. So it was pretty amazing to be exposed to a small town that no one really knows me. It's been very eye-opening. I'm not used to this small town. I'm used to the big town. So I'm just this little fish. And now I feel like I'm this big shark in this pond. And I'm like, oh, how exciting.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that actually gave you like an opportunity, because with Diamond Productions, you get to meet so many people and be part of so many
I've met
amazing
really great
projects.
People. I've met people that know everyone. I've met people that don't know many people. I've met so many people through them, and it's been an honor because they work so hard on these productions. And I've never seen a production come, into fruition. I've never seen it. So watching them build it and then actually perform and then take it down and be a part of taking it down and being a part of it, I'm fascinated. I'm like, I love this. And then the people that you meet, I've gained really good relationships, and really like friends that I can rely on. And they actually vouch for me. And they're like, she's an awesome bartender. I'm like, thanks.
That's the first thing that Shelley told me about. I was like, you should get Nicole. I was like, I will absolutely like to have her on the podcast, because like the 5 minutes we had the opportunity to talk the last time, you had like this amazing outgoing energy. And I was like, I love that. Like, I love that positive energy. I love that like positive output. And I was like, I would love to get to know her a little bit better.
We need more of it. Like this world is crazy. We live like in this crazy bubble. And like you mentioned earlier about mental health, I really feel like if I can change someone's day, and that's really what drives me. I don't care what I'm going through. And as a single mom, like we have the struggles, you know what I'm saying? But I don't let anyone expose that out of me. I'm here for the service industry, the hospitality industry. I'm here to make your day. And I really feel like bringing that energy and that high energy and those smiles and everything that everyone wants to feel like inside, that gives you all those like, oh, I feel special, is all about the service industry. And that's what I want to continue to do, especially in Brevard. It's really not hard to please these people. I mean, I feel like in South Florida, it's so much harder because they have so much to complain about. But everyone here is generally like happy with a smile.
They live on the island time a lot of times. And you get the occasional asshole, but like I lived in New York, and like I can compare New York to like the big city vibe where people is like always like going like crazy and stressed out, and they're like a little bit more like picky and needy. Here it was like, fuck it. Everyone has like that fuck it attitude.
Yeah, and I love that because I've never had the fuck it attitude.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm just like, oh my God, I have so many things I need to accomplish. And I'm like on South Florida time all the time. I was always like on the go, and like that's just how I am. And then moving here, I'm like, oh my God, fuck it. I'm like, who cares? Like, let's just roll with it. And like, I love that about this town. Like the small town vibes is starting to rub off on me. I'm not going to lie.
I love it. Yeah. That's awesome. Welcome to the club, because I'm the same way.
I know. Like
I'm starting to be like, fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually, I'm vibing to it right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not leaving. I'm enjoying this.
No traffic, no craziness.
Listen,
everything's cheaper.
I tell my parents all the time. Well, my mom just
you
passed
get that
by.
when you get there.
Everyone else, I'm like, listen, there's no traffic on 95. I breeze through 95 when going to work. I'm like, that's unheard of where I'm from. Like my friend calls me to complain every single day, and I'm like, listen, there's nothing I can tell you. Move to Melbourne.
That's small, hang out with me. Small town vibe. It's like it's big enough where like there's things to do. And if you really, really want to go somewhere, you can go to Orlando. It's only a 45-minute drive. And then you have everything available here. Like you have all sorts of food.
And I'm a nut.
Everything.
Like I'm like a last minute person. I'm like so spontaneous. I'm like, let's go to Tampa. We're going to Tampa, and then let's head back. And people are like,
you concert tonight. Let's fucking go.
Exactly. I'm like, let's fucking go. Like I'm that person. Or St. Augustine. I'm like a huge person on St. Augustine. Like
it's beautiful.
St. Augustine's beautiful. I love the history.
It's been the Spanish in you that like brought you into it, like draws you towards that, because that happened to me the first time I went there. It made me feel like I was in Cartagena in Colombia.
Yes.
And I was kind of like, this is weird. Like I just felt like I was like
you had flashbacks
into a portal that like brought me into that area. I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. Like again, like, it made me feel like that. I was like, did I just like walk into a portal? And
I think Florida has a lot to offer. And it's
a bit of everything.
It's up to you to like explore it yourself, but I'm that way. I'm like, Guinea Springs, let's go. Like, I'm all about exploring all of Florida. I'm about that camp life.
I love it. So you were saying that you are from South Florida.
Yes.
So you grew up in South Florida. You were born and raised there?
So I was born in North Miami. My hospital no longer exists. They threw it down because, you know, they want big, giant buildings and they want money. Exactly. There's already 100 hospitals there, but they tore it down. So my early years were in North Miami. Okay. And I was raised in Boca Raton. My mother is Peruvian. My dad's Sicilian and Portuguese.
Oh, my God.
A little spicy.
A little combo over there.
I know. A little rebel in some sort of way.
How's it growing up? And that's quite a mix. Like, especially because you have like, that Italian on your dad, right? Yeah. That's Sicilian, Portuguese.
Super European.
And then you also have that Peruvian. And as every single Peruvian that I've met in my life has like the most amazing cuisine. And like the food, like Peruvian food is amazing. And then you also have that Italian, like, how are your like Thanksgivings and stuff? Like, oh my God, I fight on the food.
I will say my grandmother, who's Portuguese, she married a Sicilian man, and my grandfather was amazing, but she adapted. She made everything authentic, like authentic Italian dishes. So they had a bakery in New York. Yeah. And it was Italian/Portuguese, and it was amazing. It flourished. It was awesome. And then they moved down here and retired, and my dad went to college here in South Florida. And, you know, like he just started his career here and didn't want to leave back to New York. So I definitely feel like my roots go all different angles. And especially with my mom being from Peru, it was like so many cultures mixed in one. So I was very stimulated as a child. And then my uncles/cousins married Brazilian women.
Oh
my dad was the only one that married a Peruvian woman. So with all the Brazil and the Portuguese and all that, it was intense. I'm not gonna lie.
I cannot imagine like a family dinner, like the ridiculously amazing food, but the ridiculously amount of food must have been insane.
Very loud.
Like all the stereotypes.
Very loud environment. I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of loud screams.
Oh my God. That's crazy. So you were in South Florida. How do you start getting into the food industry? Like, what brings you into the service industry? Did you do anything before that, or what?
I always had this like bona fide hustler in me. Like, it wasn't sales and it wasn't completely customer service. It was like right down the middle. It was like hustler, customer service, like all of that in one, and then boom, customer service led me to the service industry, hospitality. Like it just, I don't know, something about it, like with the food and just giving people, you know, the utmost personal experience. I feel like I give personal experience no matter what I do. I can be with 200 people at my bar and be crazy slam, but I'm still giving you a personal experience of myself some way, somehow. Yeah. I'm exposing my talents to you some way. And I feel like I learned that super young and I was like fascinated with it. And I started off at a local like Italian pizzeria, and I was like the hostess / to go, you know, takeout, and I just like loved it. And I'm like, I started getting tips and I was like, oh, this is.
You start seeing that money, huh? Yeah, that service industry money. You're like,
honey. I was like, ooh, I like this.
Like, I'm not going to go work in an office and make minimum wage. Forget it.
Yeah.
Like, I'll make that in an hour here.
Yeah. And it came so like easy to me, and I became like really good at it. And I just mastered just pleasing people.
And this is when you were like right out of high school, or?
No, this was during high school.
Oh, so you were still in high school, probably 16 years old.
I was 16 years old. Nice. I was grinding it out at local pizzeria. And then I got my first job serving at Smoky Bones in Boca Raton. And then I just asked my manager one day, I was like, listen, the Fort Lauderdale location is opening. Like, I need something more intricate. I need like a challenge. Like, give me a serving position. So they were like, okay, like that's fine. And let's do it. So we did it and I mastered it. And then I went on to bartending and I just figured out different elements of myself.
So who threw you behind the bar? Who threw you on the walls?
Oh my God. The Margulies family. I have to give a shout out. They went ahead and was like, you know, you got this, go behind bar. And I'm like pregnant, you know, like this big. And I'm like, are you sure you want this like pregnant girl, like fully thrown behind the bar? And they're like, no, you got this, Nicole. And I was like, all right, fine. I worked 3 jobs when I was pregnant. So I worked at the Westin Diplomat in South Florida, which is an iconic hotel.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the most amazing, beautiful views, lots of weddings. Like, it's beautiful. And so I started there as switchboard and I did that and I answered all the phones. So I'm like, welcome. How are you? Do you want a room with us? Yeah. That type of talk, you know, like it's all about how you speak to people and customer service. And then at nighttime, I bartended. And that was really the kickoff of really learning all the elements to how I was going to be in this industry.
Nice.
Yeah. And it was very corporate, Smoky Bones, very corporate at the time.
Of course.
It was Darden. So I was like, okay, there's so many rules. There's so many rules.
Yeah. It's like, it doesn't allow for a lot of like, I feel like I've always been against like the corporate setting for restaurants and especially for bartenders, because it's so limited and they try to confine us in a box.
Right.
And like, it's so uncomfortable because the idea of like being confined in a box for a bartender, like most of the people that end up bartending are people that completely dislike being confined in a box. Like we're usually the type of people that we don't, not that we don't fit in, but we live by our own rules. Like we like to come up with new ideas. We like to, you know, in a way like stimulate that creativity.
Someone's craft.
Yeah.
Basically.
It's like
you're going by a certain rule and expectations, and it just doesn't work that way in life in general. You know what I mean?
In life in general, but I feel like that corporate mentality has a place for certain things and career paths. In the service industry, it's just like very, you cannot quantify good service. You cannot quantify certain things. You cannot quantify a good experience the way they want to quantify it in a corporate world.
Believer, if you push something on someone to be non-authentic, they're not going to be able to give you the best service. It's not going
to be the same.
So it's like, you used to have fan surveys and all this stuff, and like you had to score like a certain amount.
It's so stupid.
It was such pressure, and I was so young, and I was a new mom, and I was just like, I need this job, and you got to be like a certain way. But like I realized after, you know, years of being in it that, you know, I need to like expand my wings a little bit. We're going to leave corporate world.
It's about the authenticity of it, because of the authenticity of the experience. Like you said, like they force you to be this specific, and it just feels rehearsed.
Yes.
And that's like, and you can, it's cringy.
People are looking at you and they're like, I just want a beer.
Yeah, like,
and you're like, oh, and so we got this, and I'm going to recommend this. And it's like, you're so pushy, and it's like, you can't be yourself.
No, it's annoying.
Yeah.
It's so rehearsed. It's so like unnatural. And I'm not, I can remember I did a couple of restaurant places, a couple of corporate places, and I was like, this just like, I just feel like icky and trapped. Yeah. And like, I just feel like I need to shake it.
You feel like not yourself. No. You feel like you have to be a robot. I'm not a robot.
No.
Like, I'm a human. I have feelings. I need to be authentic. I need to be genuine to who I am. And I feel like that's what makes you who you are.
Yeah. And how are you supposed to like establish a connection with a customer or a regular or a person, a patron that sits at your bar?
Yeah.
When you are not being authentic to begin with. And like, granted, we fake a lot of the stuff that we do a lot of times, and we actually kind of like try to like put on a mask because we all have like, but
because you're real. You're a real person. You have feelings too.
And we have shit to deal with.
Right, exactly.
But a lot of times we get a customer that sits at a bar and they want to tell you what are their story or their struggles, and like, how are you supposed to like
connect and I'm starting off with
find
10
like
steps,
a connection? Like,
oh, you need to do this, and like and it's like, okay, it's like, all right, like let's go with this. And I thank God. I I'm actually thankful for that experience. It taught me a lot about really sticking to the roots of customer service. It really does. It keeps you on task in that way. And so I learned a lot from it. I'm not going to say that I completely disliked it. I learned a lot from it, but it's definitely not my vibe. And that's what I will give Brevard a lot of kudos, is that there's a lot less corporate places here. It's all based on small business. And I do promote that 100% because in South Florida, a lot of places are corporate. Yeah. And you are going to get that corporate vibe. And if you're not up to par, if you're not on time, 20 minutes early, if you're not, on the selling tip, if you're not promoting a certain thing or whatever, it's like you're ostracized. And I don't feel like that's truly being a bartender. That's not what the hospitality industry is about. It's about being unique. Yeah. It's about showing who you are, your personality, how you present yourself in different scenarios. You know what I mean?
The type of individual, when I travel, I will absolutely not eat at a chain restaurant. Like I will not go to a chain bar or anything like that. Like I'm not going to go to I'm not going to even say Applebee's because I absolutely hate Applebee's.
I've never seen an Applebee's.
And then, but any like Buffalo Wild Wings or anything like that, like unless there's literally absolutely nothing else there. Yeah. And the reason why is because like you just go there and to them you're just a number.
Exactly.
You're just a number from the moment you walk into
you're
the
not you're not like a someone that wants that experience. They don't look at you as like someone that wants that experience. You're looked at as just, like you said, like a number. Yeah. And that to me is not the service industry.
No. Like people, like we're supposed to like be able to like take care of people, like create a memory for them. Like
exactly.
For them to go back to wherever they came from or go back home, or like if they have a bad day, for us to turn that around. That's what we want to do. Those corporate places is like, we want that survey because that survey is what's going to get us a little bit more on the stock market.
That's why I'm so excited about the place that I work. Yes. Like Area 142, I feel like is a culture for everyone. Number one, it's not, corporate. He's never owned a bar in his life, the owner, which,
he doesn't know. He doesn't know what he got himself into.
But he comes from the marijuana business.
Oh, wow. That's
so
awesome.
Cool, down to earth.
I'm just picturing like that pothead guy from that 70s show, the old guy.
The guy that has like all the time chilling at the bar, But that's what makes it authentic. You know what I mean? And I love authenticity. And that brings out all the people that work there. We have Nicole. She has the same name as me, but she's from Lido's. I was from Dancers Royale. You know what I mean? You've got all these people from everywhere. You have Melissa. She's from Bare Assets. Just great people that come together. And it's like, we all just make it work. And it's an environment that everyone can go to. Kids go there,
So is this more like a beach vibe kind of bar?
Yeah. But it's not even just that. It's like everything we have to offer. We have games, Village Idiot has games. We have games, we have concerts, ticketed. We have free shows. We have Jamaican Me Crazy, which everyone loves Jamaican food. How do you not love Jamaican food? Every Sunday, vibe out to Jamaican
it's
food
so
and Jamaican music.
I love that.
Exactly. And I feel like for once in my life, I belong to a place where everyone else belongs. So it's no matter
you're enjoying yourself. You're enjoying what you're doing right now. That's awesome.
I am. So I am.
How long have you been in the service industry?
22 years.
Jesus.
I'm old as fuck.
You're not old as fuck at all.
I'm old. I don't care.
No, you're not old.
7. It is what it is.
Oh my God. You're not literally that much older than I am. So don't say you're old because I know myself here. I know. But it's crazy. And so you move from South Florida, you started Smoky Bones, doing all these things.
Yeah.
When did you shift towards the more mom and pop place or independent place? Was it in South Florida or did you move to Brevard?
Well, it was in South Florida. I did bartending and I did management for a place called Salt and Spirits. It was the first tiki bar in Boca Raton. So I was very proud of it. It was my baby. Shout out to Doug. I love you guys. And so I took that place so personal. It was my baby, even though it wasn't mine.
Yeah.
I just wanted everyone to know in Boca that you can have a small, little venue and make it, beautiful and have all of your gigs and all your music people and DJs and all that and make it great. Like you didn't have to have this big venue with like chandeliers and all that crap.
Like simplicity.
It's very bougie.
Oh yeah.
It's like you got to have your martinis and everything's got to be perfect. And you know what? He was the first person to be like, no, I don't want that in Boca. I want a tiki bar. I want it simple menu. I want it, just like, cool flowery shirts and just like whatever. And we ran with it.
It's kind of interesting that you mentioned because like you're saying that now you're embracing that like laid back attitude. Yeah. And I've never been to Boca, but it sounds like very West Palm kind of like.
I would say it's like the Hamptons meets Manhattan.
Oh my God. Yeah. That sounds like a fucking nightmare
it's
to me.
It's a clusterfuck. I'm not going to lie. You've got Boston, you've got Connecticut, you've got New Jersey, you've got New York. So it's like my dad is from New York. So I do have a lot of New York in me in a way. Like everybody's like, are you from New Jersey? And I was like, no. But I do have sort of that mentality. And then you mix the Spanish in there and it's like, where is she from? we can't quite like
figure it out
where she's from. So it's like, I do have all of that in me. Like, my grandparents had a big effect on me and they were originally from Europe, but they had a lot of New York in them, you know? So I do have that, but in Boca, it's very cutthroat. It's like New York. It's very cutthroat. There's nothing like small town about it. It's like either you're a bona fide hustler and it's money and you're pulling up in a Lambo.
Contacts,
and
money, connections.
Right, connections.
Straight up New York.
High class. Like you got to have all these like upscale things to be noticed.
Yeah.
And I was just like, ew, like I don't want that. You know what I mean?
It makes sense that you mentioned oh no, what's going on with this side? Sorry. So it makes sense that you mentioned that this place was like your little place. Like you made it very personal because it seemed like it was like a little oasis in the middle of this like desert of like bougie stuff.
5 tables and a full bar. That's it. And I had a little speakeasy. So it was the first speakeasy in Boca. So everybody came out to see that. And, it was different. No one had tuna tacos. Like everything in Boca is very, I don't know how to describe it.
Manchy.
Exactly. Like you got to have your martinis. You got to have your charcuterie board. You got to have like all of this like fancy things. And this bar was not made up.
It's like, here's tacos and beer and like Hawaiian shirts and fuck you all.
It was Doug was a retired police officer. He was like, no, we're going to do everything like unconventional. We're going to do
Magnum PI with a fucking Hawaiian shirt and a mustache.
The bar was made up of a boat, an old boat. Isn't that funny? Like
that's awesome. I got to go check out this place for real.
Called Salt and Spirits. Check it out. It was made up of a boat, like an old boat, like a gondola boat. And it was just so different. And guess what? He's still there. He's still killing it. Like, I love him. I love the family. And that was my first small business experience. Oh, really? So it really definitely shifted my vibe to be more just like laid back. I don't think I've ever really had.
He got you out of that box. He got you out of that
vibe. I'm so like driven that I was like, no, I need to like loosen up a little bit.
Relax.
Yeah.
Like, I need to chill.
Yeah. Like namaste needed to come in my life.
That's probably why you don't look like you age at all. Is because you're like,
oh, please.
It's like a little bit.
I've aged.
So you get out of South Florida.
Yeah.
How do you end up in Brevard County? Because that's like most of the people that I've known that usually tend to, orbit towards places like South Florida, New York, like the big cities, like where everything's happening, or like, everything's cool and like the vibe and the trendy stuff.
Yeah.
But not many people go, hey, I'm going to go to fucking Brevard County.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a little bit of a lover. I follow my heart. So that's what I did.
You followed a boy, huh?
I did. It didn't work out, which is okay. I'm at peace with it. It's my decision to move here anyway. Yeah. But my son goes to high school here and he started here. And I don't want to be that mom. that
just
like,
pick him up and like take him away.
exactly.
Yeah.
He needs to finish out
rough.
his life. He likes it. He made friends. I'm like all about comfort zone. So he developed his own comfort zone, and I'm happy for him. But you know what? I might spread my wings once he graduates. I don't know.
Pick up and travel everywhere.
I am
Get like a van.
I'm so spontaneous. Like if you're like, let's go to Puerto Rico, I'm down. Let's go here, I'm down. Like let's go to Bali, I'm down. Like let's.
So you heard, if anybody wants the key to her heart is just like pick her up and take her to Bali or somewhere fun and exotic.
Yeah, spontaneous life. I feel like is part of a bartender.
Yeah,
pick up and go, backpack type vibe. Like that's all me. Like. I don't like that like anchored down feeling.
No, and that's such a important thing to like to say, is that it is part of us. It's like in a way there's a reason why like a lot of bartenders like we what's the word, like we vibe together.
Yeah,
you know, English is my second language. A lot of times I forget words.
No, it's okay. Words. I got
but,
you. We can then
we can go.
We can do it in any way you want to.
Let's do it. And we can vibe and like we connect, and we found like this like connection, and we kind of like get along. Like that party was awesome because it was just bartenders, and we all like in a way were like, we were very different people and very diverse, but there's something about us that, like you said, we have that spontaneous, that like free spirited, that we don't want to be set up in a like a tree. Like we're not trees. We have legs and we want to move and like want to travel.
So different because part of me grew up with such principles and like class. And my parents went through a certain standard and upbringing and being part of church and all that.
Yeah.
Catholicism and all that stuff. And I,
oh my God, you're
like,
Catholic.
So
you
many,
grew up Catholic too?
Yes. And you have so
it's rough, man.
It's so rough. I'm like, for the body of Christ. Oh my God, what am I eating? But it's like one of those things where it's like, I have that in me. You know what I mean? I have those principles in me. But just something, I was always like a rebel in some sort of way. And like my parents never understood it. My dad was just like, why are you like this? And I just like,
this is just teenage years. No, it's not.
No, it's just like, I cannot have like such regiments in that way. You know what I mean? And I always thought that I was going to be a lawyer and I was going to be this and I was going to be that. And because of my fundamentals and my upbringing, but it's like, truthfully, like, no, I'm a people pleaser. I'm a server. I'm like I love service.
Yeah.
Like I want to give people an experience that they never had before. And I just couldn't stand that like 9 to 5. I mean, granted, I worked it. I had a corporate job. I love marketing. I love marketing. That was my background. That's my major. I love that. But at some point, like I cannot be confined to that industry for so long. I need the outgoing, spontaneous.
You don't like the monotony of the office.
Like I love that. Like rock on with your hair, like all crazy, purple, yellow, whatever. Pink.
It makes so much sense that you actually feel comfortable in an area like this because it allows you to like be more you.
Yeah.
You know, it like areas like New York or like places like South Florida, you have to in a way pretend to be somebody just to be able to like navigate the waters and like be able to fit in a way. These like smaller areas allow you to be more you, more like who fucking cares? Like it doesn't matter.
I feel like South Florida, they throw so much money at people. And that's when people start to change and not be authentic. Like you're going to throw money at me and expect me to be impressed. I'm not impressed by your money. I'm impressed by your heart, by who you are as a person, what you do for people, what you represent. And I definitely need to bring up Shelly again. I think that the fact that they did that for Brandon shows what type of culture in Brevard County has.
The whole idea is to be able to look out after each other. Like that, like we need to, and that was what actually the original idea of me starting the blog was. That was like, I want to build a community where like, it's not just Brevard, but it's like everywhere.
Right.
Where like
exposing people that have that good authenticity about themselves
and be able to like look out after each other. I mean, I feel like after the pandemic was kind of like we got in a lot of ways we got hit hard, and we were lucky that in Florida it wasn't that bad. But like I know places in all over the country that were locked down for years, for like 2 fucking years.
So
they couldn't have like
put all their money into businesses that they lost. And
now we talk about our industry that doesn't provide us with like health benefits a lot of times and things like that. And the idea was to like, you know what? If one of us, a bartender in somewhere in Missouri, has an accident or a health condition that doesn't allow him to work for several months, like, let's rally, let's do a GoFundMe, let's fucking share the stories. And like, if we create a community where like we can create a network of bartenders or service industry workers all over the country where we can share anything and like make it like propagate it like fire, make it go viral faster, we can help more. Or like just so that if we want to travel, because that's another thing.
We don't realize how powerful we are as a community. Like when we talk about it as a whole, we're like, oh, we're like the misfits, or we're not the industry that people take serious. We're not doctors, lawyers, all that nonsense. But as a community, we have each other's back and we have a voice. And I feel like that is more powerful than anything.
And we're missing out on like, if we get together and we build a community of like, and start talking and sharing our stories, we can help each other out. If somebody's having a rough day and having a rough mental health day or addiction problems, if somebody just moves to a new town, doesn't know anybody, we can like, hey, join the page or join this and like, hey, I just moved here, or hey, I'm planning on traveling to this area and I would like to like guest bartend somewhere. Like anybody will like take me in or do like an exchange. Like if you come to my bar, I will bartend I'll let you bartend in my bar a couple nights and you come visit the area for a week and travel, and that way you don't lose out on money. And then I'll go and do the same in your bar and we just like exchange and hang out, and like that way we get to travel and enjoy.
And I keep referencing Brevard, but I just feel like you guys definitely have that open arms feeling, because it's not like that in South Florida. I will tell you, place I've worked at, when they bring people from California and other places, you're kind of ostracized in a little bit. Like you're like not
the outsider.
Right. Because you're not from here. You don't know the culture. You don't know the people. And truthfully, the people are very different.
Yes.
And I will say that.
Yes.
But, you know, when you move to a town that you don't really know anybody like I did, it's like everyone had open arms and they're like, show me your talent and we will bring you in. And I just felt like it was so easy for me to become a part of this community. Like I just felt accepted right away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, oh my God, this is not bad.
I was so weird. Like I moved here from New York City, and like when I first got here, like as a matter of fact, this was the first bar I ever had a beer in Florida.
Really?
This very bar, yes.
Really? Video?
Yes.
No way.
And Jason was like super, oh cool, like, where are you from? And like I was trying to find a place to watch a soccer game, and he was like super welcoming. Oh yes, I'm from. You know.
Trust me, I know all too well.
Yeah, we're bad idea.
Yeah.
But and then I met a few people at this very bar that day, and then it started growing from there to the point that I'm like, just the village or like Cocoa Beach is just, everybody was so welcoming and everybody was so helpful, and I didn't really feel like when I moved to New York where I was like, bro, like everybody's just a dick. Like, did you like, unless you have something like to offer to them, like material
mentality.
Yeah, it's like, unless you have something that is convenient for them, nobody gives a fuck about
you. If you're not giving something to somebody and you're not benefiting their lives, they will not give you the time of day. And that to me is not what I'm founded on.
No.
Like you give everybody 100 and who you are and how you are. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're going to be an asshole,
fuck off, man.
You're going to get a different side of Nicole. I promise you that. But there's a sense of like really realizing, like pick love over hate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like Brevard, we have a really strong community. I have to say, when I first started moving, like, you know, kind of discovering and moving around, Beef O'Brady's like Washington, Jenny, I love you. Those girls are great. You know what I mean? Aubrey, all of them, they're so cute. I had a great time working there. I also worked, in downtown Melbourne, and I worked at County Lawn Hunter. Oh my God. It's put a bunch of girls together and see what happens.
Like especially County Lawn, you know?
Yeah. Put a bunch of cowboy girls and see what you get. It was a different experience. I loved it because I love country, which not many people know that about me. I know I'm Latin and I'm like spicy, but country, that's my vibe.
All right.
So my vibe. I love country music. I love country boys, white and blue eyes and green eyes. You know, it's like the key to my heart.
So wine, green eyes, blue eyes, random trip to Valley. If you have some boots and a cowboy hat, you can ride a horse, and you have a four-wheeler.
Right here. That's all.
Reach out.
Great. Yep. I'll send you my number later. I don't know. It's just that type of like land, cows, all that. I'm just mesmerized. I didn't grow up in that.
No, you grew up in South Florida.
Yeah.
That's like Lamborghinis, Ferraris. Is like there is not an inch of mud. There's not an inch of mud in South Florida.
And then you come here and it's like all this open land, all these animals, all these gardens. It's like beautiful. I just find that just more exciting to me. I don't know.
I grew up in a city. Like I grew up in Bogota, Colombia.
So my ex-husband's from Bogota. So I know. Yeah. His family lives in Sopó.
Oh my God.
So like on the mountainside.
That's funny because like Sopó is very different than Bogota, but it's like a nice retreat to get out of the city. But
he has two different sides of the family.
Oh yeah.
Half of them live in Sopó and half of them live in Bogota. So
that's insane.
Yeah, he's got the,
So it's funny because I'm drawn to the mountains, for example, and like
Medellin.
No. Like and just in general, like I go to North Carolina or something like that, and like I will never live in a city again. Like that's something that unless it's absolutely necessary, I will avoid it, just because I enjoy being outdoors. I enjoy hiking. I enjoy going to like the woods. I enjoy being
There's something about the sticks that get people.
Like I'm growing my own food. I'm like starting like my own like chicken coop and everything in the house. Like,
I love that.
I don't want to have to go to traffic. And like, you know that I'm, in a way, sometimes I'm not like the most people person. Like I very like to be on my own sometimes. Yeah. But I also...
I have introvert moments, like, believe it or not.
There's nothing better for me than to sit outside on a porch and then just see nothing but woods.
Yeah.
Or like be on a tent. Like I fucking love camping.
Everyone needs to experience some sort of tranquility and silence through nature.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been to Peru so many times, and just going to just nature, seeing how they live, and that's thousands of years of tradition.
So relaxing.
Yes.
So relaxing. Like if you can appreciate it for what it is and kind of like embrace it a little bit, it will definitely bring it's like food to your soul in a way. Now, if you're just like really set on your ways and you're like that South Florida, that New Yorker, that big city person that just doesn't want to get dirty or doesn't want to do like, you have to open your mind and be like, listen, let me just embrace it, get dirty, just enjoy it, just for like kind of like when you try empanadas for the first time, just try it, eat it. If you don't like it, that's fine.
It's like ceviche.
Give it a shot. Oh my God, don't give me about that Peruvian ceviche because I haven't had one in a while.
I started a business. It's called Ceviche 321. It's a food truck for ceviche. Yes. Hit me up for that.
All right. I'm gonna follow you around for lunch every day now.
But there's something authentic about different cultures that you like. That's why being Peruvian is such an honor to me, because you have the Andes, you have the Amazon, you have the Pacific Coast. Like it's so many elements of being who I am. The food. Oh my God. I'm never going to be skinny, by the way. I just eat all day when I go there, like see my family, like just all sorts of food. It's just different everywhere. And if you don't experience the country, it's
you're missing out.
You're missing
out.
And don't get me wrong. I love New York City.
Yeah.
I love the fast-paced life,
There's diversity. There's all sorts of stuff that you're going to find. Like, there's a lot of positive things about New York City.
The best Indian food in the world you'll ever find is New York City. But if you don't know what it's like to sit on a porch and rock and listen to just grasshoppers and crickets, it's like you are not understanding tranquility at its finest. And who doesn't like the mountains? Like looking at the mountains, especially the Smoky Mountains in North Carolina, it's like smoky and it's just beautiful. Like you have to appreciate nature.
So you are somebody that likes to be outside.
Yes.
Likes going around, doing things in the woods, like going for.
I like to get dirty.
You like to the beach and you like to wear dirt.
Yes. This girl right here. Let's go on some doongies.
Like paddleboarding, all this stuff.
All of it. I love all of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So those are your things. You like going outside?
Although I have not experienced jumping out of an airplane yet. That's my...
I'll skip on that one.
No, that's on my to-do list. Like, I really want to do that.
I'll probably skip that one.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
It's not that bad.
I've done like paragliding and stuff like that, and it was fun.
If you would do paragliding, that's even more dangerous than parachuting.
Yeah, maybe one day. But I have a kid, and I like
if maybe too. He's 16. I got it.
I have like the idea that so if I would have done it, if I would have had the opportunity to do it before my kid was in the picture, I would have done it.
I get it.
But now it's like, all right, let's go into my kid is done with college, and maybe I'll fucking.
Listen, he's very well on his way. He's got 2 more years, and then I'm gonna.
Yeah, be like, all right, Emma,
let me fulfill my duties first.
You're done with college. I did my job. Now I'm gonna jump off a fucking.
Yeah, yeah. Florida prepaid. You have it. Goodbye.
I do feel like I do see the appeal of doing it. Like I have thought about it, but. It's fucking terrifying.
It is. It is. But I feel like that's the whole point of being like in this world. Like we have all this technology. We have all like, don't get me wrong. I would never bungee jump. I think bungee jumping is so scary. You can like snap your body in half. But I feel like just having the free spirit of jumping out of an airplane or going on a major roller coaster or just, hiking to the top of the mountain. I think that's what's so exciting about being able to see the world. You know what I mean? Like I've always wanted to ski in Switzerland. That's like one on the
Have you ever skied?
I have.
It's hard.
It's hard and I love it, but I've been all over Colorado. I've been to Montana, Big Sky. I've skied all that. But something like in Europe, like those just giant mountains, I'm like, let's go. Like I just have such a long bucket list.
Like I've never been to Europe.
Really?
Never.
So I went to Italy 2 years ago with my ex-boyfriend.
How was it?
So beautiful. I mean, granted, we had a little bit of a rough time because we went on a cruise and it's like, it's post-COVID and it's like all these rules and like, they stuck that thing up our nose 1,000 times because it's COVID and everything. I know it's awful. But I will tell you the ancient ruins of Pompeii and Florence, you can't beat it.
Oh, really?
It was stunning, beautiful. The Leaning Tower of Pisa. I can't explain to you, like, America's beautiful, but Europe has this sense of like culture and history, and just the history is what gets me. I'm like a history buff. Like the history behind it is just, it's beautiful.
So one of the places I want to visit that absolutely bucket list, and I will, if I could live there for a few months, Norway.
Oh, Norway.
And as a matter of fact, I started taking Norwegian. Like yesterday, I started like a little bit and a half learning Norwegian.
Norway, though?
It's a little bit.
I mean, because you have
funny.
Iceland, you have Greenland, you have like.
So the reason like Norway came to my attention was because of the type of music that I listened to growing up. So I was listening to like black metal and like that's kind of like where we were journeying from. But then I started learning a lot of things because of the music, about like their culture and history and stuff like that. And it was very like, history, and culture and all these things. To me, it was very, I was drawn to it.
Yeah.
And then I started seeing, and Norway is like an outdoors paradise.
Yeah.
It's like, if you like hiking,
so
if you
many
like camping outside, it's
the camp vibe there is
fucking believable.
Another level. Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons I want to be able to like go there, stay for 3 months, go to like all the, like whatever, as many metal festivals that I can do, and as many hikes and camping trips that I can do.
Suitcase.
I will.
Put me in your suitcase. I'm there.
So if there, what's that one place you like to go? Like, is there a place where you'll be like, I
wouldn't say there's an exact place, but I'm drawn to castles, like ancient castles. So Ireland, Scotland, Germany are all on my list. England, nice. Like I really truly want to see every castle.
So you can.
I'm all about castles. Like I don't know why. There's something about it. Like 1500s, 1600s that draw me into that place. Like even if it's haunted, I don't care. I just want to go in. Like I just
need sleep. I am already a bartender. I don't even sleep anymore. I'm trained for this.
Exactly. Like just the thought of going into a place where people have been for so many centuries is just, I don't know. It's so appealing to me. I think it's so beautiful to see how they created these beautiful statues and stuff like that. Structures and like, think about Egypt too, like the pyramids. Like I just want to see it for once in my life. Yeah. So there's not really like an exact place, but that's what I'm drawn to.
See, like I definitely have to see the Northern Lights in Norway when I go. That's
I'm with you on that.
For me.
That's very romantic of you, Niko.
I am a hopeless romantic.
Okay.
Yeah. Even though I'm Colombian, I'm a hopeless romantic. Yes.
Colombians are hopeless romantics in their own way. I'm not gonna lie. You know, maybe with multiple people, but you know.
Oh yeah, we have a reputation. I guess this is what I'd say. It's so funny.
That's another thing about the Latin culture. We have a reputation that I just can't stand our stigma, because it's like there's the ones that are not like that. Like I'm a very faithful, loving person to one person, and I feel like us women have a little bit of a hooker vibe, you know what I mean?
I feel like it's more like the crazy
psycho, slutty, and that's like so not me. But it's okay.
I feel like it's everybody, honestly, and it's like, you know, there's stereotypes for everybody at the same time, and like for me, like every time like everybody finds out that I'm like, you know, this metalhead that likes like rock and metal, and
so you're hardcore.
No, and it's not even that. It's just like everybody's like, well, I thought you like reggaeton, or like, I'm like,
just because I'm Spanish doesn't mean I like reggaeton.
I hate it with a passion. I cannot. I'm the type of person that I cannot stand listening to reggaeton in the car or anything like that. Like,
so funny that you say this, because my family comes from metalheads. So I'm laughing inside because my Peruvian side, Metallica. Yes. Like my cousin Jaime, like he was in a band and he would like bang on his guitar and do all this like wee and have like all these like crazy amps and guitars. And now he actually he works for a guitar company in Seattle. Awesome. So he does this like most amazing like, you know, guitar influence in metal, but metal was what drove them.
Yeah.
And so for me, good.
So got a little bit of a technical issue there for a second. We're back. So I wanted to ask you, so you've done corporate restaurants, bars, right? You've done like the mom and pop plays. You've done a little bit more of like now like the beachy side. Have you done any sports bar or anything like that? What else have you done?
Sports bar. I would say that Smoky Bones was somewhat of a sports bar. Yeah, at some point. And then, like I said, I worked at Beef O'Brady's on Lake Washington.
Okay, yes.
And then County Line. So that's kind of like, you know, sports bar / clubbish.
You do, you said you mentioned you came from a place called Dancer Royale as well, which is a strip
Dancers
club, right?
Royale.
How was that?
It's very spicy.
So I actually worked at strip clubs when I was in New York.
Really?
Yes. And it was interesting.
It's very interesting.
It's very interesting. It's not like what every guy thinks of, like, oh no, it's a dream. It's not.
It's definitely a hustler environment. I will say it was a learning experience on many different levels. I mean, I worked at Scarlett's in South Florida, so I do have a little bit of a background in that industry, but you know, everyone has a story. Yeah. And these girls, young, older, whatever, they hustle. And you gotta love the vibe. Like you gotta respect the industry. I mean,
it's crazy because a lot of people don't realize the diversity of backgrounds that are on those type of places, especially.
Yeah.
Like I remember there was a girl that I used to work with, and she was putting herself through medical school.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's insane. And she's a super smart girl. She was beautiful, but I was like,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. She was like, dude, like I'm just getting through college and I will have no debt when I graduate. And I was like, that's awesome.
And think about it.
Yeah.
Like what person do you knock down in that position? Yeah, no one. A lot of people. Like you actually, that's like a hustle like no other. Like you got to clap that girl on. Like,
and it was not only just her. It was like a lot of people that had like these crazy stories that were like, oh yeah, I own 3 apartments and 2 houses and they're paid off. And I was like, and then you also have like, you know, the typiple like, you know, girl that
just wants to have fun and do the things that she does.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, we're supposed to be allowed to do whatever we want.
There was a Thai woman that I worked with. She was the oldest one that worked there. She was almost in her 60s. Didn't look it, obviously. And she was there for about 30 years when it used to be in her room. And that girl killed it. I mean, she owns buildings where she's from. I mean, she supplies her whole family. She has so much money. And I mean, how do you knock that hustle? Yeah. Like you don't.
You can't.
You think of it as like kind of like
it's an interesting world though. It's an interesting world, and like it's
an undercover world that you would never think of. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I will expose a little bit of it. I personally think it's a little dirty in the sense that I've literally watched men dance with a girl, lick on some nipples, and then the next guy comes on and licks the nipples. it's, it's got some raunchy moments that you experience.
I've seen some things in my life, trust me, and then that place takes.
But I don't kiss and tell, but I'm just saying that's just an example.
Yes.
And it's,
I definitely 100% saw some things that I never thought in my life I would see. And I was kind of like, and they're not as bad as people think, but they're just more like weird in a way. You're like, God, like, nah.
Yeah. I will admit I participated sometimes. I mean, we had this guy, he was from up north, and he had this thing about doing a banana contest.
A banana contest.
Who can deep throat the banana the best?
Did you win?
I did. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had the video. It's so embarrassing, but listen.
I'm gonna need you to like share that on the page just for scientific research.
No. I'm gonna be honest with you. He was giving $200 away, and I'm like, listen, like I know I'm down for this, and I'm gonna win this $200 because I'm gonna win. I'm not like, listen. A lot of people think I'm very like reserved, and I am in a lot of ways. But when it comes to providing for my family and hustling, like I knew I had this in the bag, and I was like, this is a contest I'm participating in. And I won.
My time to shine has come.
Yes. I'm like, yes, my moment. Other than slanging drinks, I'm like, I can do this. I will take that experience.
Hey, with listen, nobody can take that away from you. You won the contest.
I did.
$200, and it's a talent, man.
It's a talent. Come on now. Like you gotta shine in some way.
Of all these places that you work with, where do you feel more like comfortable, like more like where you feel like you thrive the most? Like being into like the sports bars, you've done.
I will say
the strip clubs. You've done the now you have like that beachy.
Yeah, vibe. I will say that Area 142 has definitely been my number one family. However, as far as experiencing, the baby, the process, the love, Salt and Spirits will always have my heart because it's my hometown. These are kids that I grew up with my whole entire life that were coming to the bar seeing me. And I've known these people for 20 plus years. So, serving them is like, it was dear to my heart. You know what I mean? Because they know the real Nicole.
Yes.
Everyone in Brevard does not know the real goofy person that I am. I grew up with all boys. Like I'm also very like sporty. I'm not just like a girly girl, know.
That explains the whole like being outside, being outdoors, like country girl vibe. Is because you grew up
grew up with all boys. Shout out to all the boys that I grew up with. It's in that neighborhood. Cypress Bend, woo woo. But that really defines who I am. And those people that I grew up with know the real Nicole. They know who I am. You know what I mean? Yeah. I feel like Brevard doesn't they view me as like, oh, she's just this Miami girl. She's got all this energy. We can't understand her. She doesn't drink. Some have this like, I don't know. They have this persona of me that's not, I have like a big heart. I give everybody like my 110. The last shirt
Cypress
off my sleeve.
What's it called?
Cypress Bend. That was my old name.
Cypress Bend. And it's in Miami.
No, it's in Boca.
Boca.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cypress Bend, Boca Raton.
Yeah, Boca Raton.
Why do they call it Boca Raton? Where does that come from?
The rat's mouth.
Well, I know what Boca Raton means, but is that like just random name?
I don't know. Honestly, I just know the history side of it. That you have Addison Meisner. Obviously, Addison Meisner has his mansion here, so there's a lot of history here too. But Addison Meisner created the railroad system and created downtown Boca. Like, oh, wow. He is the one that built downtown Boca. So, you got to give credit to him. But I really don't know, like, why. I mean, that's I'm
going to look this up.
I know.
I'm actually going to like,
we're looking it up. Google it.
Let's find out what like Boca Raton name.
Everybody, like, seriously, every time I tell someone, oh, I'm from Boca Raton, they're like, oh, the rat's mouth. And I'm like, huh. Like, it is funny, but that's the name. And
it's crazy. Well, I've never been to Boca Raton, so I got to check it out.
You have to go. I'll take
go find that. You got to take me to a little tiki bar.
I'll show you the tiki bar. I'll show you all the pubs.
Definitely want to go there.
Yeah. And you got to go to the fancy, smancy places too. The bougie. It's part of the experience.
Okay.
You have to. There's Colombian restaurants there too, So You got to get the whole experience, the whole vibe.
You're going to take me to Boca Raton and we'll check it
Yes,
out.
you and your girl can come experience Boca Raton on my expense and we'll have fun.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a deal, then.
It's a deal.
So, you're a single mom.
Yeah.
How do you feel that being a single mom in this industry is like? Is it because I've gotten a lot of like I've seen it and I've gotten it like it can be a good and a bad thing. A good like a lot of times you have a little bit more flexibility when your schedule.
Yeah,
you're able to spend more time with your family. Sometimes you're able to like run around and like last minute things. Having kids, like we know that it's a very unpredictable world all the time. They're getting sick, they're not getting sick, they're doing good, they're not doing good. They're like it's a bunch of it's a fucking roller coaster.
So many roller coasters to this.
So has it been like a good experience for you to be able like has this like industry enabled you to be able to be a better mom or being able to like spend more time with your family, or has it been a little bit of a challenge for you to be a single mom in this industry?
I would say I've always been true to my motherhood in the sense that I've always been there for my son no matter what. If you told me I couldn't spend a certain amount of time with him, like I'm leaving your company. That's just how it is. But it does come with ups and downs. I definitely am an advocate for the single mothers in all different levels. I'm always posting single mom this, single mom that, only because it is a struggle. You have to provide 110% for your child. And not only that, it's your livelihood as well. And so it is a little cutthroat. You do have to hustle a lot more than other people. And I'm not saying that makes me more valuable, but I'm on time, if not 20 minutes early to every shift that I work. The work ethic is different. You work on a different work ethic because you're supplying for a family. You're not supplying for yourself.
No.
So that whole like vibe of like, that whole like, oh, you're, living for yourself. You're living on the edge. I wish I can say that I live like some of my coworkers, but I don't. Every dollar counts, And so I do take it a lot more serious than most. And I do grind differently. The grind for single mothers is definitely different.
So let me ask you something. You were mentioned before we started like recording, you said something about being sober. It's being a sober bartender.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club.
Welcome to the club. Yes.
So you try to stay sober, which is a great thing because like, I used to drink a lot and like that was like, oh, I'm going to go make money and like I'll get out to the bar right down the road after I get out of my shift and then just go and party and then half my shift was gone. Like, my money was...
your money's gone.
And then now that I'm like, I don't drink, I'm like...
Wow, you're keeping all that money.
I still spend my money because, I have a kid and then also I like to do things and eat a lot of food and I don't...
We're laughing. The food is not important.
If you put food in front...
Like, you got kids, but food.
Food. Like, listen, if it's good, it tastes, I don't care how much it costs, I'm going to eat it and I'm going to pay for it. I believe it. Why being sober in this industry? How is being sober in the industry for you? Like, how is it like, I know right now you're having a glass of wine, but like not drinking while you work and stuff like that, or trying to like at least not do any of that?
I think there's multiple elements to my choice. Just my past experience with my son's father, and also my upbringing. My parents were not drinkers. They were workers. Really, like they grinded it out. My mom just had no tolerance. She had one glass of wine and she's like, woo. And my dad would have his scotch and he's just like a chillin', like I never was exposed to that side. My ex-husband really exposed me to that side of things. So I think for me, being the nurturer that I am, I was like, oh my God, like I need to protect people. So I feel like I'm a responsible mother behind the bar. I want people to enjoy their experience. I want them obviously to have fun. You need to get tipsy. You need to have your experience, but in a responsible way. And I feel like all of these people that are finally becoming sober, I have a lot of friends that recently became sober. It's just like, it's a responsibility that you need to have as a bartender, protect people. And I think in the past, this whole like party vibe was all fun and games, but when you get in trouble, you see people's lives go downhill because of it. And that's not the goal.
There's
the goal is to enjoy alcohol to the point where you can continue your life and function. You know what I mean? And so for me, watching people function is more important than watching people fail.
And that's important because at the end of the day, especially with our customers, like we gotta be able to take care of them. Like if they get in trouble, they're not gonna come back. They're also like they become part of our tribe. Like they become part of our people. They're our people, and like we need to look out after each other regardless. And for us to just like, I'm gonna just shove a bunch of booze on your trunk so I can take your money, like that's just fucked up. There's a level of responsibility.
There's a fine line
with the
for
job.
sure.
Yeah, there's a level of responsibility that comes with the job and being like, listen, I'm gonna get you drunk here, but I'm also gonna make sure that you're safe. I'm gonna make sure that like you're eating some food, that like I'm not gonna get you intoxicated. I'm gonna make sure that you're not driving, and like that's
and like it's that that's where the mom comes. From like I'm very
babysitting aspect of bartending.
Listen, ultimate babysitter right here. I have babysat my whole life for all my friends. I am DD babysitter, all these adult daycare. Come right here. I could actually start a business doing that. I'll make a lot of money, but aside from that, it's your duty and your responsibility. And I also believe that when you put people in this type of position with alcohol, your life, meaning your life as a bartender, and their lives are on the line. So with that being said, when you talk about the nitty gritty of being a bartender, it's a very serious offense. You need to be responsible. Absolutely. And I do get that vibe. A lot of people think I'm like harsh and I'm very like by the books, but it's something that's dear to my heart because I have lost a lot of friends in this industry. And I also have lost a lot of friends just, through drinking and driving. So it's a serious thing to me.
So you have a really good motivation to not go down that path.
No, I don't want to ever go down that. I'm not going to lie to you. I've at Dancers Royale, I definitely participated a lot in the drinking vibe, but always been able to blow 000 at the end of the night. Right. I started off heavy and I ended it with the 000. So we're good.
Good.
Yeah.
Nicole, I have a couple of things.
Okay.
So normally in this, I like to find out what your shifty is.
Okay.
So a shifty, we talked about that one drink that like after we've been slammed at the bar, we get our ass kicked. And, like we just feel like we need something to bring us back, like bring our soul back into our body after being like annihilated in a crazy ass ball. So what is that? Is it a drink or is it a ritual that you have that at the end of the night, like everybody's out of the bar and you're like, I need this so that I can become a human being again, whether it is an alcoholic drink, whether it's some weed, whether it is listen, I don't judge anybody. It's a free fucking country, and I never judge anyone. But is there a ritual? Like, what is it?
I wish there was something that I could say that was a ritual, but I love tequila.
Shout out tequila.
Shout out tequila.
Like, fuck these people today.
Say, if I'm taking that shot of tequila, it was a rough one.
Oh,
like
my God.
I don't, like I said, I'm really not a drinker, which is like, this is like way too much for me. But I'm a lightweight. So this, I had one glass is my second. I'm
ready to
pretty
go.
Toasty coasty, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I'm good.
All right.
But like I said, tequila, that's my go-to.
That's your shifty.
Yeah, that's my shifty.
Chill shot of tequila,
nice,
straight up like
chilled,
a savage.
Reposado. Yeah, it has to be reposado, but that's me.
See, I heard that Latina accent.
Yes,
like,
it comes out once in a while. Once in a while.
And there's something that I like to highlight in the show is that the customers and we have our regulars. And our regulars are honestly sometimes what make it worth it in this industry.
Like, absolutely.
Regulars, they become part of our family. They become part of our tribe. They tell us their stories. They hear our stories. They're there for us a lot of time. And I just think that without our regulars, there will be a big chunk of this industry that wouldn't be worthwhile going through if it wasn't because of them. So I like to always highlight a regular of the week.
Yeah.
So is there any of your regulars that has either inspired you or that you absolutely love or got you out of a pickle or that is just a fucking good soul that you want to give this shout out to?
I would definitely say Gordon. His name is Gordon. He's been there for me since the beginning, and great guy. Owns Maxim Homes, by the way. If you want a home, call him. He's just a sweetheart. He's just big in the community, has a big heart. He's always been there for me. His father died from pancreatic cancer. My mom recently passed from pancreatic cancer. So we have like a lot of things that we relate to one another, but he's always been there for me. And it's like, he's much older. He has kids that are closer to my age, but just someone that has always been like a rock star around Cocoa Beach. It's not even just with me. He's been Rachel's regular. He's been other, bartenders regular. Like, he's very well known. And without him, I can say that, like, I don't know, like, he's definitely got me through a lot of things, like between my breakup and moving here, between being in a pickle, just like in between jobs before area opened up. Like, yeah, he's my rock. I will say he's my rock.
So, Nicole, where can everybody find you? What's your Instagram handle or anything you want to put it out there? Is there any place that anybody can find you?
Yeah, definitely. So you can find me on Facebook, Nicole Constanzo. I also started my own ceviche business, Ceviche 321 it's called.
I gotta try that out.
Yes.
Gotta come see.
Yes. I only do group ordering, so it's not like I'm stationed anywhere. So group ordering only. Area 142, I have a little shout out for them. I work days only, but I do events at nighttime for them. But I just wanted to definitely say what we have going on in the future.
Yeah, no problem.
We have Super Villains this Saturday, Ballyhoo May 28th, Cashed Out. Go see Cashed Out. It's a killer band. So killer. It's the 2nd of June. It is a ticketed event, but I promise you get your money's worth. And Jamaican Me Crazy.
You make me crazy.
Jamaican Me Crazy every Sunday. You have to. Jerk Chicken by my boy Shane. I do work Sundays. Days only. Please come.
Yes.
Listen, everyone loves to smoke and drink and enjoy jerk chicken. Smoke, drink, enjoy jerk chicken.
I'm gonna stop by on Sunday and check it out.
Yeah.
For sure.
And we have DJ Lioness. She is such a boss. Like, she brings me back to like when I was in the club at 13 years old, booty dancing. Like, she puts on those old school vibes and I'm like, and it's like so hard to bartend and dance at the same time. Like, my jam. Like, it's so hard to shake the drinks and booty dance at the same time. But definitely shout out to Area 142. The events, it's all ages. I love that you can play games there. Yeah. It's all ages. Have your corporate event. You can have a wedding there. Like, that's how awesome it is. Like, it's just like a cool vibe, and it's for everyone, and I love it.
Right on. So check it out. Now you know where to find her.
Come see
so me. If there's a tall, blue-eyed country boy, white boy that wants to spontaneously take this girl to Bali,
yes.
Now you know where to find her, right?
Yes.
Nicole, today we are at the Village Idiot Pub.
Yes.
In Village, Florida. Anybody that's in the Space Coast in Brevard, you want to find one of the best selections of beers, especially alcoholic beers. They actually have a huge selection of alcoholic drinks.
Come play in darts.
And
I want to play you in darts.
Join us, come hang out, come say hi to Jason, play some darts, play some games, and just have an amazing time. They do a lot of things for the community in this area.
They do. And shout out to their little lounge area on the front. So cute.
Love it.
Last time I was there, that did not exist. So I love it.
I think they put that after COVID. So
okay.
Check it out. The Village Idiot Pub. Thank you so much for letting us do this here today.
This is such an honor.
Thank you so much for joining me today. This is awesome. I was really excited to actually get to talk to you, especially after I met you. And you got that Latina amazing vibe. You have that amazing, aura and positive energy.
Thank you, Niko.
I'm so happy that you're part of the industry. And I really, 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 really look forward to seeing you for Jamaican Me Crazy.
Please come visit.
And we gotta go to Boca Raton. Now I gotta go check out this.
Yes, Boca Raton in the house.
Bring my wife with me and everything.
Bring her, please.
Yes.
And I just want to say this is such an honor. I really hope that this explodes into something amazing, just because this is exactly what Brevard County needs. And I just wish you all the success.
So
yes,
Nicole.
absolutely.
You're the absolute
Yes, kill it. Woohoo. Bye, guys.